I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Nice to meet you, Salvatore.
I saw your guys' page. I thought this is something unique, telling the story of blockchain from the pop culture perspective and trying to take out some of the complexity and some of the tech side of it. Not because that stuff's not important, but you just want to do something that is more creative and artistic, and it's really interesting. So I'm glad we get to talk about it today.
So are we.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the project?
Sure. It actually started with a silly idea from my girlfriend. She woke up one morning thinking that we should have a way to collect, how do you say this, like having a collection of cryptos, but without like spending too much money on it. And it resonated with the ideas I had previously, and we thought about a Panini sticking card album. And we thought it'd be really funny to have those, and we could explain on each card what this crypto was about, and it would be a nice and funny introduction to the world of cryptos and a way to collect them. And talk after talk, we started thinking there's a whole story behind it, behind every crypto, and we figured we were more interested in telling this story than having this size square to tell the story of each crypto.
The idea was started as almost like a trading card.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so then you decided, instead of just focusing on doing these cards for each cryptocurrency or maybe different people and different entities, and
exactly,
you said let's do something that tells that story on something bigger, like a book.
Exactly. And then we thought the story deserves it, deserves to be told in a thicker volume than just collectible cards. We just looked back and realized it was 10 years by then that the Bitcoin was first initiated. And we thought 10 years is a good time to look back and tell the history with a big H of cryptocurrency. And then I talked about it with Guillaume, who is a very old friend of mine.
How is it that you guys met originally?
Actually, was in art school with one of Guillaume's oldest friends, who is from Brittany in France. And he ended up bringing all his friends to Paris because they were coming to study and to start their careers. And I ended up meeting all of them, and they became one of my best friends ever. And Guillaume was coming with the pack, with the bundle. And we ended up, spending time with each other. And it ends up like you just need a one-to-one occasion to really bond. When this project came to mind, I know I'm not a writer. My part is more like the art direction, etc. I had designed books before, and I thought I need this thing to be really, really pop, and really I want to address it to a big audience. And the best way to do this is to make it accessible. And Guillaume by then was just out of his former job in a big company.
Yeah, I'm based in Brussels now. I moved in October 2018. And I was in Paris before, and I was doing brand publishing. So I was mainly doing journalism work, but for websites, for big brands. Here, I'm still working for these companies in France. I have way more time than before because I'm a freelance. When Hugo called me with this idea of a book about blockchain and everything, I was really interested because I had some time to work on a side project. And we talked a lot. We just shaped this book, and we like music, we like art, we like cinema, we like every field. I also like video games, sports. I'm really curious in almost everything, and blockchain is good for that because it has some impact in every field. We found like this cool angle. Let's talk about blockchain, but with a tone and everything. Each time we're going to take sport or video games or virtual reality or fashion, things that people like and people want to read about more than just explaining complex protocols. I already tried to explain blockchain to my friends and everything, and they can keep focused for more than 2 minutes. I just wanted a book and give it to them and just read this book, open any page, and you will see it's interesting in the end.
Can you give us a window into how it is that you're trying to explain crypto? to the average person out there who maybe doesn't have a technical background? It sounds like your project is about making it more accessible.
We went through many steps shaping the project. And the first thing that came to mind was there is a history book to be written because it's been 10 years. And Guillaume had been into crypto. He was crypto interested for a few years already. We combined crypto with every word on the planet, writing the story about the book, etc. We have the crypto newbies, crypto Jedis, crypto everything. As soon as the project took shape, I knew I needed some advice, and I liked Guillaume's writing, and I figured, okay, I need a writer, and there's no better person on earth to give advice to me about this subject than Guillaume. And then I just called Guillaume saying, I have this idea. Leah, who was my fiancée, she had this idea about a collectible cards album, but I think we could do more. What do you think about it? Do you want to be part of our talks, and do you want to think about it with us? And Guillaume was immediately in. And the first idea we had was pitching it as a marketing stunt for Ledger, which is the company producing the Nano crypto wallet. Mm-hmm. And we had the opportunity to meet with their marketing director. I went to him saying, yeah, look, we have this project. We think there's a huge lack of literature. Every book I was recommended, I read like 4 or 5 pages. I was like, okay, this is about economics. This is about computer sciences. And that's not what I'm looking for. I want to know what it is, maximum 10 pages, and then I want to know what we're going to be able to use them for. And the final goal was what interested us in the first place. We were not there to speculate. We were not there to think about it in a banking way or in a computer science way. We really wanted to think about what those technologies could allow, and how we could talk about what the things that were allowed by these technologies instead of talking about the principles and the protocols, etc., etc. So then we started looking, okay, there's this project, it's about sports. There's, have you heard of this thing? It's about a wine company that's starting to use blockchain and crypto tokens to protect their IP and etc. Have you discovered this? It's called Decentraland. They're trying to save VR and a week after we started talking together with Guillaume, we were like, okay, now we have enough subjects about pop culture, so we can make at least a prototype that ourselves would be interested in reading.
People out there, people who have heard about crypto and they've not gotten involved, they haven't learned that much about it, and because, like you said, it's technically dense, or it's dense from an economics perspective, there's a need to invest time and, of course, money too, if they want to actually be investors, but just the time and energy to learn how to use it. And I think a lot of people have the question, like, sure, it exists. I understand that the geeks think it's cool, or a lot of people that are building on that technology, but is it just a fad? Is it something that I should really, coming from the non-technical background, invest time and energy into? I still don't understand after looking into it just a little bit. And I don't understand the content. I also don't understand what it is that's going to make this truly go mainstream. And that's why I think you guys are really the intersection of that problem and of the core technology and the networks, and trying to bring that to the masses. So I think that adds another dimension to the project that I think is cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we figured that nobody until us, there must have been some attempts, but nobody wanted to tell the stories of how it happened. And nobody wanted to tell the stories of what it's going to be useful for. Not entirely. The most of the literature right now is about how can you become a crypto guru, or how can you be a billionaire in a few months, or how.
Right. When Lambo.
And we figured,
what about normal use cases for average people? Yeah.
And we read about the history of internet, and we figured this is not only interesting on a technological point of view, but it's also a really good story. It's also a really good story to read, and the people involved in it are really interesting people. And the story they have to tell goes much farther than just we needed technology to communicate, and we made those networks, etc. It's about freedom, it's about emancipation, about so many other things. When internet started, nobody figured everything we do every day would go through the internet. And we had the feeling that it could be the same for crypto and blockchain. And that's the story we wanted to tell.
And you're going to make it fun.
Yeah, that kind of came after. I think at some point we discovered Pascal Boyard, and maybe you have heard of him. He was one of the first artists to work around and with crypto. And he was a graffiti artist, and he painted on his graffitis, he painted some QR codes, and you could send some crypto to him just by scanning his wall paints.
I remember this.
P-Boy, that's his artist's name. And so we were like, okay, so if crypto is already in the world of art, which is usually the last, often, if it comes to art, then you can know it's going to invade everything. Because once artists take a subject in hands, it's going to spread, and to, comment tu dis, ruisseler, to ripple, no? Ripple. Is it the correct word?
Sure.
Yeah. Ripple, and then we figured,
snowball.
Okay, yeah, exactly, snowball effect. So we figured if there's already a prominent artist in France that works around cryptos, it means that all the other fields of interest can have fantastic stories to be told about. And we heard about wine businesses. We heard about how we could change voting.
You guys are in France, right? You guys are in France.
Guillaume
makes
is in
sense. So that's why you've mentioned wine multiple times already.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, I understand. I can see a lot of applications for crypto, and you guys are looking at all of that, and you're looking at all and just trying to synthesize that into something that's entertaining.
Yeah.
I think that's very commendable, and I'm looking forward to it. Can you tell us more about the actual book and like the crowdfunding campaign that you guys are doing?
We had to find a way to produce it because we want to do really an illustrated book with hundreds of illustrations and everything. And it costs money. And it was also a side project, so we were not paid or anything. We will need a lot of time to give birth to it. We just thought about it, and we found out that Kickstarter was really the ideal way to...
I lost you.
You lost me?
You determined that Kickstarter was probably the best avenue for...
Yeah. We thought it was ideal because we wanted to gather really a community around the project. And we wanted the community to be active in the making of the book. We wanted people to ask us, could you, I don't understand this subject, could you explain that? Or, I heard about this project in the video games and blockchain, what do you think about it? And really make the community active and also keep our independence, because if we did a book with a sponsor, we would have restrictions and censorship. So we figured out that Kickstarter, if it works, it can be really perfect because we already have a community which is supportive of the book. We have people we can communicate with, also brainstorm and interact with and everything. And also we can keep a 100% independence, talk about anything we want with the tone we want. I think the Kickstarter allowed us to do all of this. And also it was a good test for us because we are working on this for 1 year almost. And we just showed it to a few friends and some people in France.
What I love about crowdfunding is how you can put something out there and get immediate market feedback.
Yeah.
And you can get also, like you said, you're engaging the community. And now you're going to be able to ask those people what they liked and what they didn't like.
We will have learned a lot from this campaign, even if it fails.
Can you give me more details about the campaign itself?
Around $10,000 out of 85,000.
You've raised 10,000 so far. That's not bad.
Yeah. No, that's not bad. But according to Kickstarter's statistics, in order to close our crowdfunding, we should be a little bit higher, by now. There, we can always have a surprise. It's just a question of touching the right people, and then one share from a particularly influenced person could change everything. So we're still working hard on it, and we're still writing to everybody we can, and accepting interviews, really cool guys. And yeah, we think if the crowdfunding is not a success, we have other ways that we try to avoid in the first place, sponsoring, etc., because we wanted to stay independent, and we really wanted the crypto community to help us create this book. And we figured the best way to respect this community and to be true to itself was to get them involved and give them a chance to be really part of the project. We were already thinking about solutions to keep this project alive.
Kickstarter, I don't think they accept Bitcoin, do they? No. And have you guys thought at all about how you might be able to raise money for something like this using a different platform?
Of course, we thought about it. There are two things about it. First thing is the goal of the book is also to bring some people that are out of the community to discover. It's a good way to get introduced to this fantastic universe. And for that, we wanted to go on a mainstream platform that could allow people that are not from the cryptosphere to get to know our project and get to back us. And the second reason is that there's actually right now no platform that allows crypto funding. And we actually looked for some information about when platforms like Kickstarter would start allowing crypto backing, but it was a bit too soon. I think there's still some regulatory problems to be solved in order for those platforms to take the risk to introduce crypto funding.
Culture Pledge started as an art crowdfunding idea to develop this tech platform, something like Kickstarter, and then to also develop an online magazine, and to have two arms to functioning and supporting each other. And all the work has gone into the online magazine, pretty much. And the idea has been focused on creating content. But it's not like I'm giving up on the idea of doing something for fundraising for the arts, like something on our side. And I definitely would like to include crypto, and it seems like there is a hole in the market. Yeah.
And that's actually an article we absolutely want to include in the book. We think like crypto could allow micro crowdfunding and micro, how do you say it? Micro payments. Yeah, micro payments. And then that induces the possibility of giving like micro supporting, like giving really small amount of money to content creators. Either it's a book or a video or anything. It's just today it's expensive to give. If you give $1 to a content creator, the platform will take like 20 cents or something. And with cryptos,
never mind the currency conversion.
Yeah.
If you have to send money around the world and do things in the fiat system, it's just extremely oppressive. And crypto is just amazing for just obliterating all of the problems that you run into. Are you working with freelancers, or do you intend to build a team for this, or is it just like really you two?
There's already a third person who is the illustrator, Simon Bournel, who made the cover and the few illustrations that are in the prototype of the book. It also comes with the idea of involving the community. Anybody who has an interesting subject, who has a special knowledge about any subject and who wants to help would be welcomed into the project.
Also illustrators, data visualization artists, or I don't know. It was also the point of the Kickstarter to meet all these people. Some of them are artists, crypto artists. Some of them already want to do collaborations. Some people want to write for the book already. So we find it pretty cool and open to any suggestion to fit it in the book. Obviously, we have to work together, but we will let them write it and, of course, pay them for their job. That's so wise. We asked for this 85,000 euros. We want to involve a lot of people. Our idea about the book is not closed. It's not finished. It's always moving. And when the book will be published, it will be finished. But for now, everything can be done if it's in the spirit of the book.
I appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with me today. And I think the project is well conceived, and I really admire your ambition. And so I hope it works out. And I know whatever happens with the campaign, I know it's gonna lead to something really cool. So
we're pretty sure about it because the feedback we have is it's overwhelming. Everybody we talk this project about is interested in it. Everybody we can reach is wow, never heard about anything that looks like it, that resembles it. And there's a true lack of easy reading literature on the subject. And there's a true shift to be made in people's mind about what these technologies can do and what they're for.
Where does the value come from?
Yeah.
Where does the value of the dollar come from?
And
there's a lot to unpack with crypto. I know how much work it takes to understand it, and there just aren't the resources that need to be improved, and you guys are doing that, so that's great.
It's not easy, but we hope we can do it. And also, I think one of our biggest strengths is that we are not experts, obviously. And like me, I've been studying it for 3 years, and like I understand 10% of what I'm reading. But I think it's why I'm good to tell these people who don't even know the story of money, the cypherpunks, and all of these projects.
The story of money is always changing, right?
Yeah.
Through there's this book, The Ascent of Money. Through that whole story, it's just changing constantly over the past 500 years. I guess it gives a longer term perspective also. It's just been changing over and over again and becoming more complex, involving more and more entities, banks and corporations and nations. And, it just keeps evolving. And I think crypto is really just the natural extension of the system we've been building for 500 years or thousands of years. And so it includes everyone in the world.
Exactly. Yeah. That could be the first worldwide belonging to everybody.
A lot of people around the world are not being included in the current system, and crypto does offer an avenue for including more people in all continents, all countries, and it's really worthwhile. So really nice to talk to you guys today.